week out from county final, I suppose when you came into the job, maybe the first aim was to steady the ship. You knew the potential and the history of the club down here. You got a massive response from the players, and no surprise to see Coolderry back on the county final day once again.
Yeah, look, I suppose the aim, you never set out to go to the county final, but I suppose this year no one, I suppose, thought we'd get here. We ourselves at the start of the year, it wasn't anything we said. We just said we'd take each game as it came, and we said we'd blend all the players here and get back on track. And I know that, look, probably a year last year they didn't qualify, which might have been a surprise, but look, our aim is just to make things better every day we go out and make the team better every game we play. So we are where we are. We're probably, a lot of people are shocked, and we're probably shocked ourselves away, but we're delighted, and I think the lads deserve a lot of praise for getting there.
When you came into the club, you would have known maybe some of the marquee players. You would have done your research of the club. You'd have found out, the history toppers here, the regard Coolderry are held in. I think once you come out and get involved in the club, you realise how special a group they are.
Yeah, look, look, they have, I suppose, the hurling club here is everything. It's the whole community, and in the minute I came here, I saw it straight away. Like, it's the centre point of the whole village here. It's about everything. So there was never anything that I had to install or try and put in. It was everything I have, and everything you look for in a club. And after that, then it was just getting the hurling right and getting the attitudes right. And there's never, look, like what happened last year, what happened the year before, or what happened in the last county final never matter. It's what's ahead of you and what's the year ahead. And look, they've done everything we've asked them so far this year, so can't fault them. You
probably obviously knew your leaders and you've seen them and worked with them, but you seamlessly worked in a lot of underage players that only starting out in their careers. They've really fitted in, they've matured very well. They mentioned the likes of Keane Burke in his debut year, got a goal in the semi-final. Lads like that just have seemed to be unearthed all of a sudden and seamlessly fitted into a team.
Yeah, and look, I suppose we never looked at them as young lads. I suppose in a way it sounds silly, but I never looked at the old fellas as the old fellas. We just, like, I suppose every day we go out, we've picked the best team that we think to get over the line, and these fellas have just, I suppose they've just taken on their shoulders, and they've driven on, and there's never been a question, and that's the only way they're going to learn. The young fellas will learn off the older fellas, and they've thrived on that, and they've listened and they've learned, and the older fellas are also learning off the younger fellas, and they're getting a bounce off them. So it's a nice mix.
And certainly you've answered every question of you so far. You can't beat momentum going into it. You got some serious tests along the way. Even the last day, while you led more or less from pillar to post against Shinrone, they threw everything at you in that final quarter. And for lads to stand up and get over the line obviously meant that your team are in the right frame of mind.
Yeah, well, look, we knew Shinrone. Like, we regarded Shinrone as probably one of the better teams in the county. Probably, up there as one or two as quality-wise. So we knew they were going to come at us. And we had to keep in the game as long as we possibly could. And then when the question was asked of us by them, which happened, I suppose, in that third quarter, if we responded, we'd win. And if we didn't, they'd win. And that was what it boiled down to.
Your first county final as a manager in Offaly, but you will be familiar, obviously, with your opponent, St.Rynaghs, going for 3 in a row. And a player or a manager that's well known out here, you would have known him from other circles, Ken Hogan. He'll bring a lot to the day. I'd say you're looking forward to pitting your wits against him today, because you'll certainly know and have your homework done on what you're to face in St.Rynaghs.
Yeah, look, Ken, I suppose Ken has had a big say here, and Ken would always leave a place in a better way than when he first came in, and that's, everyone has and even outside of hurling, I have a great respect for Ken, and you'll be looking up to Ken. And I suppose, look, like, they're going for 3 in a row, and I suppose it's hard to win a 3 in a row, but it's even harder to try and stop it. So that's our job next weekend. And we'll try our best. That's all we can do.
Lastly, you have a long management career hopefully ahead of you. This will be your first county final in Offaly. What do you feel it would mean as a sense of achievement out here? A lot of players in the twilights of their careers, they're really relishing these days. You've seen interviews with them post a semi-final. I think you know it'll be a special part of the history of Coolderry if you're to land this one.
Yeah, well, look, I suppose what I look at is, when I come in here, is to try and get the best out of the group that's here. If that means winning it, great. If it doesn't, then so be it as well. I've loved every minute here. The brilliant club, brilliant chairman, brilliant committee. Everything has been top class. Been treating me like I've been here all my life. So you can't. I come here happy every day, come and train, and I leave happy. So whatever happens in 2 weeks' time, I'll be delighted, and I'll be delighted for the lads, because they've given me everything they possibly can so far this year, and I can't ask anymore.
Ken, you have been involved in a lot of county finals as a manager, but probably never two in such a short space of time.
Yeah, definitely, Brendan. I suppose, what is it, 10 weeks, I think, from one final to the other. So we were so disappointed last year, I suppose, when the game was postponed at the last minute. Croke Park pulled the game at the last minute. We were really looking forward to it. It meant we had to wait until August of this year. But I suppose the positives in that is that we came back training, and we knew that we were actually training for a county final. So, I mean, it meant that we had to get to the top of our game, very fit, very focused. And thankfully, you know, we got over that game, you know, a great victory. But now, of course, we're looking forward to the big one. Always the next game, Brendan, is the big one. And playing Coolderry, like, this is a mouth-watering clash, particularly for the Offaly hurling public from that point of view. So, looking forward to that.
Yeah, and full attendance is back as well, which is a benefit, of course, as well.
Absolutely wonderful. It's great to see the stand, obviously a fantastic stand there, but it's great to see the terraces full as well. And when the day is fine, like it was for last week with KK and St.Rynaghs, the terrace, people on the terrace and the crack is wonderful. So please God, you know, that we'll all keep safe and keep out of trouble, and that we'll have a huge attendance for the final.
In fairness, after winning the 2020 final a couple of months ago, you did hit the ground running again, and your form has been quite good since then.
Not too bad, not too bad. I think the lads love playing matches. That's what we all grew up aspiring to play games with our clubs and our counties, and the lads are no different. They actually love the game, and we came through our group. We had a bit of a hiccup against Burr, of course, and a hugely tough semi-final. To play the same club 3 times, you know, in the space of 9-10 weeks is very tough, and KK are great opponents, and you know, it went down to the wire. It could have went extra time, but thankfully we got over the line, and now preparing for a huge test against Coolderry.
Their club, obviously, you have a lot of links with down to the years as well, Coolderry. So
yeah, and a lot of great memories with Coolderry, really at 21 level and at senior level. Great fellas, wonderful hurlers, you know. New brand of hurlers coming through as well, you know, some great outstanding young players. Conor Malloy playing outstanding hurling at halfback, and Shane Ryan and Cian Burke at the Burks, and all these guys really coming into the role. And of course the evergreens up front, Brian Carroll, Kevin Connolly, form a very strong forward line, you know. And from our perspective, big links there with the last team, Kevin Brady, Barry Tehan, you know, hoping to be fit for Sunday week. They really love their club, and they really know what it's all about, and it's going to be a mouth-watering clash, really.
And obviously St.Rynaghs, you know, they've won a lot of Offaly titles. This would be 3 in a row. Do you think that brings any greater expectation?
Doesn't really. It hasn't really hit us about 3 in a row at all. We're just preparing for one game after the other. I think these guys are very level-headed, you know. I think that's the thing about the beauty about both teams going to this final. Both teams are level-headed. You know, it's a once-off game. It's a county final 2021. It's there to be won. And I think both teams will go hammer and tongs ahead. So I think at the end of the day, that goes into the background, you know. In actual fact, it was with Coolderry. We won 2 in a row, and we were trying to win 3 in a row, and it didn't happen. But that's sport, and that's the game. And I think this game will be evenly fought. I think you know, Coolderry's form, you know, they finished top of the league in the championship, you know. So if that credit is due to them. They are the top team in the county. So from our point of view, we have, you know, a huge challenge ahead of us.